Buying Canadian quarters in banks and then unloading them in stores willing to exchange them for American money. And want to get slim without getting sweaty? The latest fad from California is called passive exercise. It uses electric shocks that backers say will tone and trim you. The government says it's a fraud, and the only thing it'll lighten is your wallet. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Bill Bruce. Good night.
This bud's for everybody who sets them up just so they can knock them down. They're league bowlers, and they know that when you join a league, you get rolling. The competition, the excitement, with good times to spare. You find it all in the leagues at your local bowling center. And league bowlers can compete in the Budweiser Hall of Fame tournament coming this winter. So join a league and get rolling. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Buying Canadian quarters in banks and then unloading them in stores willing to exchange them for American money. And want to get slim without getting sweaty? The latest fad from California is called passive exercise. It uses electric shocks that backers say will tone and trim you. The government says it's a fraud, and the only thing it'll lighten is your wallet. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Bill Bruce. Good night.
This bud's for everybody who sets them up just so they can knock them down. They're league bowlers, and they know that when you join a league, you get rolling. The competition, the excitement, with good times to spare. You find it all in the leagues at your local bowling center. And league bowlers can compete in the Budweiser Hall of Fame tournament coming this winter. So join a league and get rolling. For all you do, this bud's for you. This is Wednesday night NASL soccer. Tonight from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, it's the Tulsa Roughnecks versus the New York Cosmos. And tonight's match is brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Mobil One, the oil that saves you gas and more. And a good evening. Welcome to Giant Stadium. I'm Spencer Ross along with Werner Roth for the USA Network. The games have dwindled down to a precious few. And for the Tulsa Roughnecks, things are definitely not decided, Werner, because they still have a shot coming off that victory over Fort Lauderdale to win the Southern Division Championship.
Well, they've had an unbelievable streak of success in the last half of the season, Spencer, after some mid-season acquisitions. And they can take the lead tonight if they beat the Cosmos here, and if Fort Lauderdale has a hard time against Tampa. And Tulsa has the type of team, they play a style of soccer that's been very successful against the Cosmos, a rough and physical defensive game, and they've got the players up front to score goals, so we'll see an interesting game. And the man who can score them is Laurie Abrahams, one of the leading scorers in the North American Soccer League. As for the playoff picture, right now, one of the divisions has been settled. That is the Eastern Division. The Cosmos way out in front. Seattle, they have not locked it up on the West, nor has Fort Lauderdale in the Southern Division. As we take a look at the wild card entrance, and that is all set. All the playoff spots are set. Vancouver still with a shot at overtaking Seattle. Montreal is the fifth best record, followed by San Diego. And there you see Tulsa. A victory tonight, as we said, could move them ahead of Fort Lauderdale. And Toronto rounds out the top 8 in the North American Soccer League. And should the season end tonight, well, here's the way we start things next week in the playoff picture. Well, New York would be hosting Toronto, as we see there. Tulsa would be meeting Seattle. San Diego versus Fort Lauderdale, and Montreal against Vancouver. And, of course, we know that things change very rapidly. Things, of course, can change with just about all the clubs
clubs having 2 regular season games remaining. But for Tulsa, this is indeed a big one, because an opportunity to take over first place in the Southern Division awaits them if they can beat the Cosmos. Can they? We'll find out when we get back for the opening kickoff.
Deacon's my name, and bowling's my game.
Gutter ball, gutter ball. How are you going to score there?
Come on, 3 strikes and you're out.
We just won another round of light beer from Miller.
Yeah, light sure tastes great.
Let's fill it. Tastes great. Wait a minute. There it is, down there. Take your time.
8 ball in the pocket.
Bubba, this ball doesn't have any holes in it.
Yeah, it does.
The score's all even.
Glass frame. Who's up?
Rodney.
Right! You gotta be a mistake. Hey, you kidding? It's a piece of cake.
All we need is 1 pin, Rodney.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, I didn't get my turn yet. I'm gonna break this tie.
This week on USA's Thursday Night Baseball doubleheader, sensational Terry Kennedy leads baseball's biggest surprise, the San Diego Padres, against fleet-footed Lonnie Smith and the high-flying St. Louis Cardinals. Then, in Game 2, future Hall of Famers meet as the incredible Carl Yastrzemski and the Boston Red Sox clash with slugging Reggie Jackson and the California Angels. Catch the action live this week on USA's Thursday Night Baseball. May not be seen in some areas. This week, USA continues its exclusive Friday night coverage of the PGA Tour. Last year, this birdie putt on the 2nd hole of sudden death enabled Hale Irwin to capture the Buick Open. Now, Irwin must battle some of the world's best as he shoots for his 2nd straight victory on the greens of the Warwick Hills Golf and Country Club. Join us for exclusive 2nd round coverage of the 1982 Buick Open on the USA Cable Network, Friday.
Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. In the background, the city of New York. But this is in East Rutherford, just a stone's throw from the Manhattan border. And now inside Giant Stadium, the starting lineups for both teams are being introduced to the crowd. And we've got a beautiful night for soccer, unlike our last 3 weeks. 2 here at Giant Stadium and 1 up in Montreal, where we were hit with some torrential rainstorms.
Well, I keep bringing my umbrella, Spencer, every time we come down here, nonetheless.
But tonight, it looks like a good one and a good game in store. So you stay with us throughout the evening for North American Soccer League action on a Wednesday evening in the month of August as we look at the Tulsa Roughnecks in their road red uniforms with white lettering and white trim. There is goalkeeper Winston Dubose. The crowd comes to its feet, our national anthem. Starting lineup tonight. First for the Tulsa Roughnecks as the teams move toward the sideline. And the starting lineup, Winston DeVos in goal. The defenders are Terry Moore, Barry Wallace, Victor Moreland, and Dave Houston. In the midfield positions, David McCreary, David Bradford, and Tasso Katsoukas. While up front, it'll be Laurie Abrahams, Diego Pescia, and Franz Gerber. Abrahams, however, will be wearing number 13 tonight and not number 14. For the New York Cosmos, Hubert Birkenmeyer back in the lineup after attending his mother's funeral in Germany. Ivan Bullion, Wim Ricebergen, Ricky Davis, and Boris Bandov comprise the defense. In the midfield, Roberto Cabañas, Vladislav Bogicevic, and Johan Naiskin. While up front, it will be Steve Moyers, Steve Wegerle, and Giorgio Canaglia. So a wealth of offensive talent up front for the New York Cosmos. The officials for tonight's match, the referee will be Bob Evans, the linesman Fred Usher, and Phil Bryan. And there is Bob Evans with a smile on his face. Let's hope he keeps it there as play continues throughout this beautiful evening. Happy you can be with us for our final regular season contest here in the North American Soccer League. Playoffs get underway next week. There you take a look at the goalkeepers. Hubert Birkenmeyer on the left side of your screen with the goals against of 1.52. Winnie DeBose, who leads the NASL in shutouts with 8 and a goals against average of 1.68. And since Terry Moore, his former teammate from Tampa, has joined this team, he has given up only 16 goals in 11 games. Elsewhere in the NASL, tonight, big game for Fort Lauderdale. They're at home to Tampa. Toronto's at Chicago. San Jose is at San Diego. Vancouver is at Seattle in that battle for first place in the West. And Edmonton plays at Portland in a battle just to end the season because that game is virtually meaningless.
You know, it's an interesting statistic, Spencer, about Winston DuBose's first year here at Tulsa in the net. It's difficult to get adjusted, and having a player like Terry Moore coming from Tampa Bay, whom he played with for a number of years, getting with him in the back, it really makes for a more effective defense, and I think that's probably why his statistics are a little better.
Well, as you've said so often through the season, Werner, familiarity breeds good things, makes things happen. Players have to know each other, and particularly a goalkeeper has to know his defenders and vice versa. We're underway, the opening kickoff. Cosmos have the ball. Number 14 is Steve Wegerle to Canaglia. Good ball pass to Wegerle. As he streaks down the right side and puts it in the box, Dave Houston gets his head on it, and it comes back out to the New York Cosmos. Cosmos in control. This is Steve Moyers, number 12, and unable to control the ball, and it goes over the touchline, and a throw-in for Dave Houston coming up for the Tulsa Roughnecks. We're just underway here, opening minute at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
We know Tulsa historically has been a very tough physical team, and the Cosmos have always had a difficult time against them, even though they've come out on top most of the time. But what Coach Hennessy's done with them this season, with acquisitions and bringing new players on board, he's turned them into a skillful team as well. And I think we'll be seeing a very hard-fought match, but a skillful match as well.
So we are underway, and Tulsa moves the ball on the Cosmos end. Roberto Cabañas heads it forward, comes to Canaglia, but it's knocked away from him, and it comes over to Victor Moreland. Cabañas chases him, and it's tipped back to goalkeeper Winston DuBose. Just underway. We played a minute and 10 seconds here in this first half. The crowd still filing into Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Some of them who coming from the southern part of the state of New Jersey may have had some difficulty getting here. There was a big tractor trailer truck which overturned on the New Jersey Turnpike loaded with hydrochloric acid, which forced the closing, I believe, of the New Jersey Turnpike, and that makes it kind of tough to move around from south to north in the Garden State. For Tulsa, this is David Bradford, number 10. Chipping it ahead to Tasso Katsoukas, number 4. His shot and a diving save made by the goalkeeper for the New York Cosmos. And the goalkeeper, of course, is Hubert Birkenmeyer. What a season he has had, and our condolences go to Hubert and his family on the death of his mother, who passed away in Germany. And Hubert was back home last week to attend the funeral. Ricky Davis to Cabañas. We'll get a throw-in coming up for the New York Cosmos.
You see the tight marking all over the field already that Tulsa's exhibited, with Wallace, number 3, coming up all the way into the attacking third of the field.
Here's David Bradford getting it to Katsoukas, who came over from Chicago, drops it for Diego Pescia, tries to put it in the box for Franz Gerber, knocked away and played by the Cosmos. Ivan Bullion to Cabañas. Cabañas right puts it way past Steve Wegerle and over the touchline. It'll be a throw-in for the Roughnecks.
Now the Cosmos their back four defenders is really a makeshift defense that the Cosmos have been using from what the Cosmos have been using most of the season. Ricebergen, of course, his second game of the season, coming off a serious surgery. Bullion and Boris Bandorf not playing regularly.
That'll go as a foul against the New York Cosmos. Wim Ricebergen, good to have him back. Ricebergen, the #1 defender in the NASL last year, coming back from an injury, an Achilles tendon. And that's a tough one to come back from.
Very tough, and he had a very difficult coming back with what he went through. He's a very skillful, very physical player, and he really hurt mentally not playing this season.
As we mentioned earlier, that number 13 is Laurie Abrahams, as he left foots it into the box, and Birkenmeyer is there for the save. Abrahams wearing a number normally worn by Todd Saldana. And when we saw number 13 out there, I did a double take, because this Tulsa team doesn't go many places without the man who normally wears number 14, Laurie Abraham. Rewatching tonight, he can score goals. Third leading scorer in the NASL. Here come the Cosmos moving forward.
And I'm sure in regard to Abraham's shirt, there was a mix-up somewhere, because generally you don't go without your star player's number.
Right out in front, Terry Moore tips it back to goalkeeper Winston DuBose, as Giorgio Canaglia had an opportunity for just a moment. 40 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half. Talking about injuries, last year DuBose broke his hand and really never came back. He kind of lost his confidence, I feel, last year in Tampa. He is a native Floridian. He played his college soccer at Central Florida University. This is Houston, back to Terry Moore. DuBose has gotten his confidence back this season, and it has grown in intensity as the year has progressed. Long goal kick. Naskin's got it. Now Bradford chips it back to Terry Moore. He'll look for his keeper, and he drops it right back to him. With 40 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half, we're still scoreless. The USA Network bringing you the NASL. More in just one moment.
Of the best-selling motor oils today, 14 now save gas. But only one saves gas. Offers cold weather starting down to 35 degrees below zero. The best protection under extreme heat. And has the ability to take you 25,000 miles between oil changes. Only one.
What would it take to make you a Toyota jumper this week? Your Toyota dealer has a new low-price truck with the biggest standard engine in its class.
I can dig that.
He wants to save you plenty on the world's best-selling line of trucks, Toyota trucks. Your Toyota dealer has special truck incentives and great selection to make you jump on a deal this week.
Act fast. These deals may not last long.
So if you ever thought about buying a new truck, start jumping.
Play continues here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and Victor Moreland puts it over the line for Tulsa as Roberto Cabañas was chasing the ball, and Ricky Davis will throw it in for New York. As you see, it's scoreless, 38 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the first half of play. This is Johan Naskin for the New York Cosmos to Boris Bandorf, number 18. Drops it back to Ivan Bullion, 22. Franz Gerber after him. Berger picks up the foul, but play on, says the referee. Well, check it. They called it against the New York Cosmos' Ivan Bullion.
No, I think they did call it against Tulsa, but they wanted the ball to be stationary. When you take a free kick, the ball has to be stationary before you're allowed to take it.
This is Naskin. Man right with him is Tasso Koutsoukas. Ricky Davis, number 6. 38 minutes left first half, scoreless game. Steve Wegerle. Barry Wallace tries to tackle it away. Believe Wegerle put it over the line. No, it'll still remain Cosmos' ball. Ricky Davis on the throw, and Wallace shook up a bit on that play. Here's Wegerle with a good outside move to Bogicevic. Gives to Cabañas. Cabañas trying to whirl through, and it's finally knocked away and played by Tulsa. Good defensive play by David McCreary.
Excellent defensive play. Tulsa is defending with 8 to 9 players on every defensive attack, offensive attack that the Cosmos make. So they're concentrating defensively in the opening minutes.
Ricebergen, Victor Moreland got his head on it. Bogicevic for New York, and Bogey drops it back to Ricky Davis, who goes field wide over to Boris Bandov. 37 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. Scoreless game. This is Ricebergen to Davis. Good defensive play by Barry Wallace, who will try and control. Ricky Davis lost one of his shoes. Wallace has the ball and gets it to Bradford. Bradford moving forward. 4-man rush now for Tulsa. Bradford chipped it beautifully to Gerber, but he was offside by a stride. A good attempt and a good idea, but offside with the Roughnecks.
They were very lucky there because Ricky Davis was totally out of the play, and there were 3 against 3, and you see that beautiful chip in there by Wallace, and Gerber was just a stride offsides, and I don't think it was because the Cosmos defense really wanted to play him.
Franz Gerber, a man you have to watch all the time, had 20 goals last year with Calgary, started slowly this year for Tulsa, but he has come on strong in the last month.
Well, he's really come on strong, Spencer, since the arrival of Diego Pescia from Tampa Bay, and the two of them seem to work very well together.
He has 9 of his 10 goals since July 4th, right out in front of Cabañas, knocked away by Moreland, and played by David Bradford. 36 minutes left first half. Cosmos nothing, Tulsa Roughnecks nothing. Tulsa looking to take over first place in the Southern Division of the North American Soccer League. They can do it with a victory tonight. Moreland intercepts Steve Moyer's pass, gets it over to Houston. Houston to Bradford. This is Dave Houston once again for the Tulsa Roughnecks. And it'll be a throw-in coming up for the men in red.
Well, the Cosmos are also defending very well. They're marking tightly all over the field, especially the back 4, covering very tight. You know, one thing that we'll notice a lot more, I think, is you'll see Wegerle and Steve Moyers, both wingers, Cosmos wingers, playing very wide, because last Sunday, Professor Mazet spent the first half up in the press box and watched the game from up here, and he noticed that they were concentrating too much on most of the attacking plays coming down the middle, so he's really tried to concentrate on spreading the attack out.
And when you have people like Wegerle out there, Cabañas, Moyers, with the kind of speed they have, you really don't want to clog up the middle with a Giorgio Canaglia.
Exactly, and Giorgio's not the type of player to be very effective coming from the outside. He's more effective playing where he likes to play in front of the goal. And Tulsa should know about that. He scored, I think, more goals against this team than any player in the NASL has scored against a single opposition.
Here's Bogicevic now for New York. With a cross, comes over to Wegerle, chips it back to Ricky Davis, looks for the shot, drops it back to Wegerle. Wegerle lines it up, tries the cross. Moyers has it, looking for Canaglia, and it goes over the line. David Bradford came over to try and defend against Giorgio Canaglia. They've got a goal kick coming up for our local systems. We'll pause now. You're watching Wednesday Night NASL Soccer right here on the USA Cable Network. Spencer Ross and Werner Roth here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tulsa has the ball. Pretty good opportunity right there for the Cosmos.
It's been the best opportunity all night, but defensively, as we said before, Tulsa's marking very tightly, even in a situation where you have a player like Bradford, who's the shortest active player in the NASL, coming back to cover Giorgio Canaglia. They play for each other.
David Bradford, 5'5", 140 pounds. Excellent field general, good playmaker. Folks in Washington can tell you all about that.
He's always had terrific games with every team that he's played against the Cosmos. Bradford as well as Wallace. They've been very effective against New York.
Here's Terry Moore on a rush, broken up by Ivan Bullion, taken back by Bradford to Terry Moore. 33 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half of a scoreless game. This telecast, presented by authority of the North American Soccer League, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this match without the express written consent of the North American Soccer League is prohibited. Spencer Ross and Werner Roth with you here on the USA Cable Network. Bogicevic chipping the ball forward as the Cosmos move on the attack. Boris Bandov, but it's put over the line by Tasso Katsukas, and the Cosmos will get their first corner kick of the evening.
You notice a lot of the attack is going up the wings for the Cosmos, so they're really concerned about not clogging up that middle for Giorgio Canaglia to have a little bit more space.
Here's Bogicevic with a corner. Premier playmaker in the league. Gets it to Wegerle. To Ricky Davis. Tries to put it in front. Knocked down by Dave Houston. Houston, who played for last year's Soccer Bowl champion Chicago Sting. Here's Wim Reisbergen. Good ball to Canaglia. Giorgio shot. Save and a beauty. Woody DeVos comes up strong on a pretty feed by Reisbergen and Canaglia. A rifle shot and a good save.
You watch Reisbergen putting the ball beautifully over Laurie Abrahams, who thought that Canaglia was offsides, but actually wasn't. Canaglia takes the ball nicely, totally uncovered, and hammers a shot, and Winston DuBose was in position, had come off his line very well to cut off that angle.
So it remains a scoreless game and a good save and a pretty setup by the New York Cosmos. There is DuBose back in his net, breathing a sigh of relief.
Now they have to keep an eye on Canaglia. We mentioned before he has scored 19 goals in 11 games against Tulsa.
Here is Wegerle putting it into the box and back-heeled back nicely by McCreary, who gets it to Franz Gerber. Gerber on a move and a good sliding tackle by Reisbergen. Frees it for the Cosmos. Canaglia trying to chip it to Cabanas, and Giorgio taken down by Terry Moore. No doubt about that. We'll get a kick coming up, a free kick coming up for the Cosmos just outside the penalty area. Very dangerous situation for Tulsa.
You cannot give Giorgio Canaglia any kind of space in front of that penalty area. And he's had 2 or 3 opportunities where he's been unmarked and the ball has gotten to him. Tulsa defenders have to be very careful of that situation.
Tulsa will set up the wall. They've got to give the shooter 10 yards. Bogicevic over the ball. Canaglia back on the left side of your screen. Giorgio takes the pass, the shot. DeVos makes the save, and fortunately for him, he holds on because Steve Moyers was there looking for the rebound.
That ball was well put right through the wall, which shouldn't happen when you have a wall like that. And Tulsa had all 10 players, all 10 field players in the back. They had about 8 players in that wall, and the ball still got through it. And you were right, Steve Moyers, very opportunistic player. He was right there, but the DuBose did well to hold on.
Here comes Tulsa on the attack now. David McCreary taking a good ball. Puts it right toward the net, and a leaping save by Birkenmeyer. That shot didn't seem to have that much velocity, and a hello to us from the folks here at Giant Stadium, and a hello to you throughout the country here on the USA Network. Here's Bogicevic moving forward to Cabanas. Cabanas trying to get it over to Canaglia, but it's taken away by Terry Moore. A little bit hesitant was Roberto Cabanas.
Well, Terry Moore was very lucky. He was out of position there. Giorgio found space behind him, and it's unlike a Cabanas pass to misfire.
Here is Pescia a little bit high with that cross, but Abraham will catch up with it. Gets it back over to Dave Houston. Houston getting a little bit of space to Katsukas. Katsukas fires, easy save for Hubert Birkenmeyer with 29 minutes and 20 seconds left in this scoreless first half, and it's been a good one thus far.
It's been up and down soccer. They've been, both teams have had some scoring opportunities. I think defensively the Cosmos back 4 has had somewhat of a problem picking up the very quick Tulsa attackers.
Reisbergen getting it ahead now to Moyers. 29 minutes left in the half.
Reisbergen has done very well, considering this is only a second game back physically. He's gotten involved in the attack as well, and physically he's in condition.
Bandov just gave it away, and on the rush now, Diego Pescia. Pescia spun around, and a good defensive play by Moyers, and Ricky Davis clears it up ahead.
Again, defensively, the Cosmos not showing a great deal of organization back there, allowing players to run free.
Here's Canaglia taking the ball from Bogicevic. Good ball over to Moyers. Fire save by DuBose, and he holds on.
A lovely little back pass by Canaglia to Moyers, who I think could have probably shot first time.
Here's Birkenmeyer, and he just gets his foot on it as Pesha was coming in for it, and it's played by Katsoukas, who loses it over to Ricky Davis. This is Wegerle to Davis. Chips it back over to Wegerle. Tough ball to control when it takes that high bounce in the artificial turf, right, Warren?
Certainly does. It takes control in the proper positioning.
Here's Davis to Riceberg. Bogicevic with 27:40 left in the first half. This is banned off to Moyers. Abrahams tries to break it up. Moyers gets it back to Bogicevic. 35 yards away, chips it ahead to Moyers, puts it up into the air, but over the goal it goes. So, with 27.5 minutes remaining in the first half, we're scoreless here at Giant Stadium. The Cosmos and the Roughnecks 0-0. More after this.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Did you see the late edition?
Come and taste it.
Congratulations.
Pepsi's got it. Pepsi's got your taste for life. You're the Pepsi generation. Pepsi's got your taste. CD edition. For life.
Looking for the right fields to invest in. And the right investments in those fields can be frustrating. That's why Merrill Lynch does the groundwork with research. To seek out the best investments, Merrill Lynch brought together the best researchers. And it is turning up the unseen or overlooked that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Spencer Ross and Werner Roth with you from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. A scoreless game, the Cosmos and the Tulsa Roughnecks with 26 minutes and 10 seconds remaining as we look at Winston DuBose. Fine goalkeeper for the Tulsa Roughnecks, now in his 6th year in the North American Soccer League. And next week, the USA Cable Network will bring you all the action and intrigue of the NASL playoffs. You check your local listings for teams and time to be televised. You stay with USA for the NASL playoff fever right through Soccer Bowl 1982, which you'll see live on USA Saturday night, September the 18th, from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. Here come the Cosmos on the attack. Moyers back to Cabanas, left foot shot, cleared back by Terry Moore, comes over to Bogicevic.
The Tulsa defense is getting a number of players in that defensive third whenever the Cosmos are attacking, so they have a numerical advantage whenever the Cosmos are up front.
Here is Bandov trying to put it in front, and Dave Houston was the last man to get his foot on it. There is Houston, number 19, a member of the Chicago Sting champions of a year ago. He left town just in time, because he's got a better shot at a title again this year than staying in Chicago. Big disappointment for the Sting this season.
Tulsa actually is the team that put them out with their win against Fort Lauderdale.
Here is Bandov, headed back out by Brantford, and taken by Franz Gerber, who was taken down by Wim Ricebergen.
I think Wim Ricebergen is back to 100% physical fitness. This is the type of game he loves to play. And here you see Wim coming on to Franz Gerber and just taking the feet out from under him. The ball was already gone, but that generally doesn't stop Ricebergen from keeping on.
Now you took a look at Gerber, no worse for wear. Gerber, who was injury-plagued in the early part of this season, coming on really strong in the last month. He's had 9 of his 10 goals in that span. Here he is, number 7, Franz Gerber. Got it to Bradford. It's knocked back by Naskins. Comes over to Bogicevic and taken by Ricebergen, number 15. But he's in trouble. But the foul will go against David McCreary, number 8.
And unfortunately for Tulsa for that foul, because Gerber was blocking Ricebergen's possible pass back to Hubert Birkenmeyer, so they were in trouble.
Here is Cabanas for New York, and Terry Moore plays the ball beautifully. Gets it over to Barry Wallace.
Another interesting statistic, Spencer, since their acquisitions of Terry Moore, Diego Pesha from Tampa, as well as Katsoukas from Chicago, they've done very well. Now, if you look at the nationalities of all those 3 players, they're all North American players.
There is Terry Moore, Canadian. Had some good seasons with Tampa Bay. Rowdies had to make some changes, though. Changes didn't help them throughout the season. A disappointing year in Tampa. And they've got some great fans there, and they'll be back next season. You can be sure of that, because the Rowdies are the Rowdies. They're legendary in Tampa, and the folks do love them there. And just a bad season for the Rowdies. First time they haven't made the playoffs since they've been in the league.
Exactly, and you notice in Chicago as well, they had a number of teams in the league have had difficult seasons, but it just shows you that the quality of the league is getting better all the time.
That's for sure. Here is Canalia trying to get it to Cabañas, made that quick turn, and an easy save for Winston DuBose with 22 minutes, 40 seconds left in the half.
Tulsa is just bringing too many players back on defense. They're working very hard in getting back once they lose possession, and the Cosmos forwards are finding themselves outnumbered all the time.
Here is Bradford. There is Roberto Cabañas. Still has that cast on his right arm. What an exciting player this young man is.
He's got 5 goals in the 4 games that he's played so far this season, Spencer, so you can see what kind of attacking player he is.
And he gets so many opportunities. Finds himself in the right place at the right time. Knows where to go. Finds the open space and puts the ball on net.
Well, a lot of effort. That comes from a lot of effort on his part. He's in good physical condition, and he just works for 90 minutes.
Being young don't hurt.
That's what they tell me.
You used to be.
I still am at heart, Spencer.
But that foul there on the Cosmos. Watch Naskins come in.
Naskins not one to let an opportunity like this pass him by. Just tries to get to the ball as he's falling and clip Terry Moore's leg on the way down.
21 minutes, 40 seconds left in the half. A good look at Giorgio Canalia. Right now, 5 points ahead of Peter Ward in the battle for the NASL scoring title. Each of them with 2 games remaining. McCreary got it over to Moreland, who lost it to Moyers. And Moyers drops it back to Boris Bandolf, number 18.
That was a good defensive play.
Ball knocked away. Pesha coming in, taken down on the box, so we're going to get a penalty. Bandolf gave the ball away, so you can actually call the initial foul on him. And then coming into the box, watch Ricebergen come over, and no doubt about it, he takes Pesha down.
No doubt whatsoever. It was the last resort. The ball wasn't in Pesha's possession, and Ricebergen's foul on him, of course, a penalty. And referee Evans, right on the spot, didn't hesitate for 1 second, whistled that foul, and Tulsa has a good opportunity to go one up.
And let's see who's going to take the penalty kick. It looks like Diego Pesha will be the man to do it. His first penalty kick try of the season as he shoots against Hubert Birkenmeyer. And we've seen Birkenmeyer stop the shot is in. It was taken not by Pesha, but by Barry Wallace. So Wallace converts on the penalty kick, and Tulsa has taken a 1-0 lead with 20 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the first half. So Wallace comes up with a goal, and for him, his 8th goal of the season.
And there you see Hubert Birkenmeyer going for the left side, and Wallace putting it on the right side. A good penalty. Now, Wallace's first penalty of the season. Here you see it again. A left-footed shot, stays on the ground, nice and low in the corner, very safe, difficult to stop.
Barry Wallace, normally a sweeper, he's been used up front on a couple of occasions this year, and he's responded with 7 goals. This is 8th goal of the season for Barry Wallace.
Well, he has a great amount of speed, Spencer, and he can really take a defender by surprise utilizing it.
So Wallace with a penalty kick and a 1-0 lead here for the Tulsa Roughnecks. Here's Canalia. Cabañas shot blocked, and the rebound. Moyer sails it high. So at 19 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half, for our local systems, we pause now. You're watching the NASL on the USA Cable Network. The crowd here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, stunned by the fact that their hometown heroes are trailing it by a score of 1-0 on Barry Wallace's 8th goal of the season on a penalty kick. Wim Ricebergen picking up the foul in the box.
Now, the reason Wallace took the penalty, Spencer, is Tulsa's had 3 so far. Victor Moreland took 2 and made 1, and Laurie Abrahams took 1 and missed it. So they've not been too successful with a shot that should be 99% in the back of the net. So I guess Wallace has got the job from here on in.
Here is the goalkeeper, Dubose. I saw your movie, though, Victory, that you were in. You missed one. Sylvester Stallone stopped you right at the end.
It's called typecasting, Spencer. It's the reason they hired me. They knew how effective I was on penalties.
I enjoyed the film. 18 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Cosmos are trailing Tulsa 1-0. The Roughnecks looking for a victory that could move them into first place in the Southern Division. Here is Moyers trying to move on Houston. Gives to Cabañas. Cabañas chips it in the net.
And what a beautiful play. You'll notice Cabañas saw Dubose off his line, and here you see Moyers just pushing the ball beautifully. Cabañas looks up, left foots it with his toe, up and over Dubose, who tried to pedal back, but couldn't get back in time. And a beautiful opportunistic goal from a player that has been so effective in his only 5 games so far this season. There you see it again. Just a little chip. He got under the ball with his toe, and Dubose just couldn't get back in time. And we've got a tie ball game.
Not how hard you shoot it, but where you shoot it and what you're looking for. And Roberto Cabañas comes up with a goal that gives the Cosmos their first of the evening and ties it up at 1-1. Steve Moyers getting the assist. 17:25 left in the first half of play. Here's Bogicevic for New York.
Now, the Cosmos have been making a habit of going down early on in the game, but they seem to have been able, in most of their games this season, to come back very effectively, except, of course, last week against Toronto.
Bogicevic with a good ball to Wegerle, at least a good attempt. Bogey has that tremendous peripheral vision, and he saw Wegerle, number 14, streaking down the right side, and just chipped it just a little bit too far.
Well, it's a class act in midfield there when you talk about Bogicevic, and he looks around before he gets the ball. He knows more or less where the players are and where he's going to put the ball, so he can do those first-time passes very effectively.
Naskins climbing all over Franz Gerber's back, but Gerber called for obstruction, so the Cosmos have the ball. Barry Wallace will watch it go over the line. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Tulsa. 16:25 left in the first half. Been a good one. Cosmos and Tulsa all even at 1-1.
Well, we haven't seen Barry Wallace, the left back here, number 3, going up that much at all. And with his speed and his attacking ability, and you mentioned his scoring prowess, Spencer, he's going to be someone that might get more involved in the attack during the game.
They've been moving Houston up from the opposite side into the Cosmos zone. Here's Wallace, and now Victor Moreland just chips it back to goalkeeper Winston DeVos. We're tied here at 1-1, and coming up here at halftime, we'll have a preview of this coming weekend's Scholastic Sports Academy with Werner Roth, and soccer set to music. We think you'll enjoy it. Compliments of Hall & Oates. You stay tuned. Right at halftime, of course, highlights of tonight's first half of the Cosmos Roughnecks battle that you're seeing right now. Here is Bouillon for New York. Bad ball. Laurie Abrahams got his head on it. Abrahams really hasn't gotten very involved in the offense this far tonight.
He's been well covered. He's been trying to go all over the field, but the Cosmos defense has been keeping an eye on him. When you have a player of Abrahams' ability coming in, and he's one of the leading goal scorers, he's one of the targets for defensive coverage.
Here's David Bradford chasing along with Moyers. Bandoff colliding with Houston. And the throw-in will go for Tulsa as it went over the touchline with 14:40 left in the half. From the Channel Islands, Dave Houston, number 19. Without even checking, I can say he is the only man in the North American Soccer League from the Channel Islands.
That's a very safe statement, Spencer.
He might be the only man from the Channel Islands in Giant Stadium tonight. Here's Houston to Gerber. This is David Bradford to Pescia, and an easy save for Hubert Birkenmeyer. with 14:20 left in the half. We're tied at 1-1. The Cosmos and the Roughnecks. We'll get right back to Giant Stadium after this.
Avis steps ahead with new Avis Express to get you from your plane to your car fast. I'm David Mahoney of Avis. Follow me. Walk right past those crowded airport rental counters, straight to the Avis bus. Avis Express is the first express service that does not require a bus pass, just your name. Your guaranteed rate contract is ready at our express location. Ask for Avis Express. Another way that trying harder makes Avis second to none.
Fresh and clean as a whistle. That's Irish Spring. Fresh and clean as a whistle. Irish Spring's green and white stripes have two truly effective deodorants. Two deodorants.
And a fine, fresh scent.
So you're fresh and
clean as a whistle.
Irish Spring deodorant soap gets you fresh and clean as a whistle.
13 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half, and the Cosmos coming close. Watch Ricky Davis. See, does he go over the end line? Yes, the ball definitely over the line as he crosses it to Canaglia.
And Canaglia put it in the back of the net, but referee Evans on the spot with help from the linesman on that side, and they called it over the line.
No doubt about it. Good call by referee Robert Evans, as Ricky Davis was unable to keep it from going over the end line, so we remain tied at 1-1. But it was a picture-perfect looking goal. Here's Canaglia to Cabanas, who has scored. To Wegerle. 12.5 left in the half. Cabanas.
And you see again Wegerle on this side really holding out to the line. He's a true winger, stays outside as far as possible.
Ricebergen headed back by Abrahams.
So you can see how concentrated Tulsa is on defending. Abrahams, one of their forwards, all the way back in the penalty area defending.
1-1 tie as Tulsa moves it forward. This is Victor Moreland, number 18. And another number 18, Boris Bandoff, retrieves it for New York with 11:50 left in this first half of play.
Boris Bandoff has been in the league so long, and he's been one of the really quieter of the Cosmos players, even though he hasn't been getting that much playing time. And a reporter once asked him if he was ready to play, if he had an opportunity to come off the bench, if he was ready, and he said, "I was born ready."
There is Boris Bandoff, number 18 for the Cosmos. As play continues, Hubert Birkenmeyer will set it up, distributing the ball out to Bandoff, who gives it to Johan Neeskens. Wegerle able to keep it in play. Over to Ricky Davis, to Bogicevic.
The Cosmos are really very lucky in that sense that they have players of Bandoff's ability who can come in and give a Carlos Alberto a rest or Jeff Durgan a rest to come in off the bench and play as effectively as he always does.
Well, tonight, for example, Eskandarian, Boris, you mentioned Carlos Alberto, Bob Yarushi, people like that who normally start, Chico Borja. They've got so many starters on this team. Just an incredible array of talent. Here's Moyers keeping it in play. Houston chasing it. Good move by Moyers. Tries to get it at Canaglia. Giorgio knocked away by Terry Moore. The shot by Neeskens. It's outside the net.
Neeskens, I don't think, hit that ball as well as he would have liked. And it just caught the outside of that net.
It was deflected by a Tulsa player. It'll be a corner kick coming up for the New York Cosmos.
Steve Moyers really doing well to turn the Tulsa defender around and get that ball into the middle.
Here is Bandoff with the corner. Right out in front. Good save by Dave Houston. As Houston was the man on the spot right there, deflecting that ball as it came toward the net.
He deflected it twice, once on the corner on the header, and once on Neeskens' attempted shot.
Here is DuBose with a leaping save on Bogicevic's shot. I think Bogey was just trying to cross that one and got it too close to the keeper.
Well, with DuBose, you really have to bring that ball out a little bit further. He controls that penalty area very well. He has good height at 6'2". If you bring it anywhere inside that 6-yard box, it's his.
Bad goal kick by Dubose there, and the Cosmos get a throw in. Cabañas looking for Wegerle, knocked down by Wallace. Played to Abrahams, number 13, knocked down by Bogicevic. Terry Moore has it to Wallace. Drops it back to Dubose. He better hurry. Steve Moyer is flying into the picture. And here's Dave Houston now for Tulsa with 9 minutes left in the half. 1-1. Cabañas on a goal for the Cosmos, and Wallace on a penalty kick goal.
I was just going to say, Spencer, it's so dangerous, a player like Moyers, who is always on the lookout for a defensive error or a way to get back in attack. As we look at Terry Hennessy, the Tulsa head coach on the bench on your left.
And he has done quite a job this year for the Tulsa Roughnecks. They've got a shot at a divisional championship. Here is Moyers. Moore comes over, tries to give it to Canaglia. Wegerle has it. Wegerle with Abrahams right with him. Makes a good move on Abrahams, puts it in front. Cabañas, great save by Dubose. Winston Dubose on that little flick on the net by Cabañas. Dubose just lunged and came up with a save.
Well, it was Wegerle's play. He went all out to get that ball into the middle, and there you see Cabañas has just sort of shoveled the ball with his body towards that far corner, and Dubose just got there.
Back live, Wegerle, and Abrahams puts it over the line, and Abrahams comes up holding his left thigh.
This could be very dangerous for Tulsa. Abrahams, one of their most potent attacker. Looks like he might have pulled a muscle on that particular play. He's been defending for the major part of this first half.
Abrahams had his best season with California in 1980. He had 17 goals. He already has 17 this year for Tulsa. And right now, his situation, not a good one as far as the Tulsa Roughnecks are concerned. Because they need his presence out on the field. There's no doubt about that. And trainer Larry Egge is out there taking a look at him. So it's 7 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the half for our local systems. Let's pause now. You're watching Wednesday night NASL soccer on the USA Cable Network. Laurie Abrahams in the right side of your screen. There he is. Trainer Egge taking a look at him, and it is the left thigh. Possibly a hamstring pull, and you just don't want to lose a man like this at any time of the year, particularly with the playoffs a week away.
Well, this is more important than any other time in the season because there is no time to recover from a hamstring pull right now. Hopefully for Abrahams and for Tulsa, it's only a muscle spasm or a cramp, because he's been working very hard for most of this first half, attacking as well as defending.
Well, he is going to just go over the sideline. Tulsa will play a man shy and hopefully be able to get him back into the game. Wegerle to Bogicevic, to Ricky Davis. His shot sails way wide, and it'll be a goal kick coming up for the Roughnecks. Seven minutes, 28 seconds remaining in the first half of play. The Cosmos are all even with the Roughnecks at 1-1.
The Tulsa attack has been relatively quiet. Other than one or two opportunities early on, they haven't been giving much of a chance by the Cosmos defenders, even though the Cosmos defense, I think, is playing a bit disorganized and is allowing a lot of space.
There is Kim Rodfett on the sidelines, native of Denmark, 176 pounds, 22 years of age, played for the Wichita Wings in the Major Indoor Soccer League. That was his last club. And he will be coming into the lineup replacing Abrahams. So Abrahams is left, and Rodfett will come into the lineup to take his place.
Rodfett is a very skilled Dutch player and is especially effective in midfield going forward.
And he's a citizen of Denmark. So Tulsa makes a change, not a planned one, but with Laurie Abrahams taken out of the lineup, and he goes back toward the bench.
This could take a certain amount of shooting power and scoring power out of the Tulsa forward line.
Tulsa needs this victory tonight. They come into play in second place in the Southern Division of the North American Soccer League, but a victory tonight could move them into first place ahead of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. So they need this win. Here's Dubose very wisely just tipping it over the line.
Not only tipping it over the line, but picking up the ball and pushing it over the other line so that they can't get a quick throw in.
This is Bogicevic. Canaglia got his head on it, but also picks up the foul as he pushed off on Terry Moore, number 2. So Tulsa will put it into play. Giorgio Canaglia, the perennial North American Soccer League scoring leader. And watch him here as he uses his body on Moore.
I think it was Steve Moyers who was offside. I think Giorgio didn't really make contact with Moore. Steve Moyers was a couple of steps behind him, and the linesman was right in position to call that offside.
Okay. That's exactly what did happen, Werner Roth. And now referee Evans comes over to talk to Winston DeVoe.
I think the referee is concerned about the amount of time that the Tulsa defense is taking in getting the ball back into play on these goal kicks.
Victor Moreland now. Bogicevic to Cabanas. And it's stolen away by Tasso Katsoukas, number 4.
It seems the Cosmos, every time they get an advantage, like in that case, a beautiful pass by Bogicevic to Cabanas, past 2 defenders, the Cosmos, they take so much time and they allow Tulsa to get back behind the ball again.
Here's Tulsa on the move now. Bradford. His shot. Leaping save by Birkenmeyer.
A good shot by little Bradford with his left foot, and it was a shot that went up and down, and you'll notice it here. He takes it and he puts it on his left foot from way out. Birkenmeyer's a bit off his line, but it's a sinker. He hits it off the top, and it almost came down behind Birkenmeyer.
Back live, the Cosmos counterattack, but it's taken back by the Tulsa Roughnecks, Tasso Katsoukas. Ricky Davis intercepted. This is Cabanas. 4 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first half of play. Cosmos 1, Tulsa 1.
It's not the most stylish game that I'm sure either of these teams have played, but it's been a very attacking-oriented game for both of them.
Entertaining.
Entertaining is the word. And you know, both of these teams, they're number 2 and number 3 on the scoring list in the NASL. As we look at Steve Moyers here, the Cosmos being number 2, and Tulsa right behind them in 3rd place.
We got a 1-1 game here and a corner kick for the Cosmos. They're 5th. Tulsa has yet to have one. Moyers with a header. Canaglia on trouble. Terry Moore just got his foot on that one. Cabanas was right there. Bogicevic knocked away by Bradford. Bradford trying to control. Loses to Bogicevic.
Tulsa's been lucky a number of times with the ball bouncing freely in the penalty area, and where just a defender got there in time before a Cosmos forward put it in the back of the net.
Great footwork by Bogicevic, and now Dave Houston clears it out. Ricebergen. Moreland is there. Moyers takes it away. Moyers on his off wing, and Moreland came flying into it.
And Moyers is ready to go. He absorbed that hit as if it didn't happen.
I mean, Victor Moreland just came flying into it. Watch this.
Moyers doing well to control the ball, and you see Moreland coming in, and Moyers not taking his concentration off the ball for a minute.
Back live, Cosmos continue the attack, but it's broken up by the Roughnecks, and here comes Gerber, number 7. 2:45 left in the half. Good defensive play by Ricebergen.
Both these teams working extremely hard, Spencer, offensively as well as defensively. Players getting back on defense and covering for each other extremely well.
Now you see Wegerle playing the left wing position. And Bandorf with a bad ball. And Tulsa has it back. David Bradford. That's an offside call on the Tulsa Roughnecks.
Boris Bandorf did very well to read that attack by Ronfed and just took a step forward as the ball was being passed. And of course, Ronfed was called offside.
Tulsa looking to move back into first place. Not back into it. Fort Lauderdale has been there virtually all season long. And Katsuka's taken down on that play. Cabañas comes flying in to Katsukas.
Well, it's turned into a physical game, Spencer. Neither team allowing much grass to grow under them. And when there's a ball around, anything can happen.
The reputation for roughness belongs to Tulsa, but the Cosmos staying with them step for step. Coming into play tonight, Tulsa with 142 points, Fort Lauderdale with 147. So a Tulsa victory tonight, combined with a loss by Fort Lauderdale, would move Tulsa back into first place. Of course, if Fort Lauderdale loses and scores 3 goals, here's a good ball to Franz Gerber. Gerber fired, save by Birkenmeyer, and a beauty, almost put it in the net. Let's see, do we get a call? As it was chipped back by Bandov, Birkenmeyer very nearly went back into the goal.
Bogey tried to get that ball back to Birkenmeyer after a lovely save on Franz Gerber's shot. Look at Birkenmeyer coming out, cut off the angle, makes a diving save, and it's Bogicevic who brings the ball back, but he tries to put it back a little bit too far, and it almost goes into his own net.
Hubert Birkenmeyer, first save on Gerber, second save on Bogey. And we're tied at 1 with 30 seconds left in the first half of play. Here's Cabañas. Way wide with a shot, and Tulsa will get a goal kick coming up.
And there's Winston Dubose shouting some instructions to his defenders. Apparently, the amount of space that Tulsa defense is giving to the Cosmos forwards isn't to Winston's liking.
4 seconds left in the half.
Buying Canadian quarters in banks and then unloading them in stores willing to exchange them for American money. And want to get slim without getting sweaty? The latest fad from California is called passive exercise. It uses electric shocks that backers say will tone and trim you. The government says it's a fraud, and the only thing it'll lighten is your wallet. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Bill Bruce. Good night.
This bud's for everybody who sets them up just so they can knock them down. They're league bowlers, and they know that when you join a league, you get rolling. The competition, the excitement with good times to spare. You find it all in the leagues at your local bowling center. And league bowlers can compete in the Budweiser Hall of Fame tournament coming this winter. So join a league and get rolling. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Buying Canadian quarters in banks and then unloading them in stores willing to exchange them for American money. And want to get slim without getting sweaty? The latest fad from California is called passive exercise. It uses electric shocks that backers say will tone and trim you. The government says it's a fraud, and the only thing it'll lighten is your wallet. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Bill Bruce. Good night.
This bud's for everybody who sets them up just so they can knock them down. They're league bowlers, and they know that when you join a league, you get rolling. The competition, the excitement with good times to spare. You find it all in the leagues at your local bowling center. And league bowlers can compete in the Budweiser Hall of Fame tournament coming this winter. So join a league and get rolling. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Wednesday night NASL soccer. Tonight from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, it's the Tulsa Roughnecks versus the New York Cosmos. And tonight's match is brought to you by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Saves you get, because we're at halftime. We'll get back with the second half with Tulsa at the start of the second half. Tulsa and New York all even at 1-1. And for Tulsa, their goal came after a foul against Wim Ricebergen.
And a beautiful left-footed shot, low and hard into the left side of that goal, and you saw Hubert Birkenmeyer choosing the wrong side to defend.
Barry Wallace coming up with a goal, which was his 8th goal of the season. Wallace, last season had but 3, showing he can do things on offense, and that's his first goal of the year on a penalty kick.
Well, Wallace has become an offensive threat with in his last 3 years with Tulsa, and he's very effective going forward. Here we'll see the tying goal that the Cosmos scored on a beautiful pass here by Moyers, who fakes a shot, puts the ball in lovely to Cabañas, who just left-foots it a quick little shot with his toe, up and high over Winston Dubose, who was off his line and could not get back in time to make the save.
Well, it was 1-1, the final stages of the first half. Franz Gerber takes a beautiful ball and comes in all alone on Hubert Birkenmeyer.
And again, the Cosmos defense a little hesitant on there. Birkenmeyer makes a beautiful save. Bogey holds on to the ball, then tries to push it back to Birkenmeyer, but a little bit too far, and we see it almost wound up in the back of the net, but Birkenmeyer had to come up with 2 good saves, one against the opposition and one against the teammate.
And it is tied at halftime. As you can see, the Cosmos have had the better of it. They've had 14 shots to 6 for Tulsa, but the saves are really important, and while DeBose has made 6, Birkenmeyer has had to make 5. Corner kicks, sometimes an indication of field advantage. The Cosmos have had 6 of them. Tulsa nothing, and Tulsa normally the rougher team. Well, the Cosmos have outfouled them 9-6.
Well, I think the Cosmos came out in this game realizing that they have to be as physical as Tulsa.
Next week, USA Cable Network will bring you all the action of the North American Soccer League playoffs. Check your local listings for the teams and time to be televised, and stay with USA for NASL playoff fever right through Soccer Bowl 82, which you'll see live on USA Saturday night, September 18th, from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. And that should be quite a night. Soccer Bowl 82. I know Werner and I have kind of made our picks and alienated some people throughout the nation and up in the Northland. Out of town tonight, action taking place. Tampa and Fort Lauderdale scoreless in the first half. Tulsa coming into this game 7 points behind Fort Lauderdale. Chicago leads Toronto 1-0 at the end of the half. Chicago's out of it, but of course Toronto would like to pick up some points and get home field advantage perhaps for a later round of the playoffs.
I'm sure Toronto would have loved Chicago to just fold up and forget about putting up much of a hassle, but as is the case very often, the team that has the least to win puts up the hardest fight.
So we're underway here in the second half of play. Barry Wallace, number 3 for Tulsa, ahead to Tasso Katsoukas, number 4, and Johan Neeskens just drops it back to his goalkeeper, Hubert Birkenmeyer.
And we have an interesting change taking place this second half for the Cosmos. You see there Chico Borja, number 28, playing left fullback in place of Boris Bandoff.
So Borja comes into the lineup for the New York Cosmos. Their first change. Kim Rockfed already entering the game for Tulsa in the first half, and Laurie Abraham suffered what appeared to be a thigh injury, a possible hamstring pull. Here is Bouillon chasing with Franz Gerber after him, and it comes back to Birkenmeyer. We're just underway in the second half of play. Cosmos and Roughnecks all even at 1-1.
Now, Borjas, as we look at Professor Mazet, who just made that change of Borja for Bandoff, is an interesting substitution since he's generally a forward or sometimes a midfielder. And Professor Mazet does have Eskandarian, who's a proven fullback, on the bench.
Bandoff had some problems in the first half. He gave it away, which set up the foul in the box by Ricebergen, and Barry Wallace scored the goal.
But what just does come to mind, Spencer, is that Borja, a citizen, and obviously the North American rule, 3 North Americans having to be on the field at the same time, and Boris Bandoff was the 3rd North American, so maybe it was a condition that Borja had to come in from the players that were available.
Well, we're tied here at 1. 43 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Cosmos with their first substitution, number 28, the man with the ball, Chico Borja, to Canaglia. Canaglia drops it back to Bogicevic. Bogey trying to move around. David McCreary gives to Naskins. This is Wegerle. Wegerle, good move on Wallace. And it'll be a corner kick coming up for the Cosmos. Wegerle thought he was fouled by Wallace, and no call was made.
Well, it seemed that he was, but I think probably the referee gave him the advantage since he was going for the ball.
Here you see Toronto has now tied Chicago at 1-1. Toronto right now the 8th team in the playoff battle. They are in, but they'd like to move up. And they've got a shot at moving up as high as 4th.
Nobody wants to be the last place in that on that wild card spot, because obviously they'd have to play against the Cosmos.
Here is Tulsa on the move. Diego Pacia saved by Birkenmeyer. We said it in the early part of the season. We'll say it again. At least I've said it. If you have to pick a most valuable player for this Cosmo team, it's got to be the man in goal.
Without a doubt. And there you see that left-footed rocket by Pacia. Well smothered by Birkenmeyer, who comes off his line so quickly and so well. And on that attack, as we look at Steve Wegerle taking the corner, Reisberg was looking for an offside. That never came.
Wegerle will throw it in, gets it to Bogicevic, back to Steve Wegerle. Here's Bogey. Headed out by Houston. Comes over to Katsoukas, who loses to Reisberg, but it's taken back by Houston. I tell you, when Reisberg and Naskins come after you, you got to be a hardy soul to stand in the middle of that. Here's Franz Gerber coming down. Boljan right with him. And Ricky Davis takes over.
One of those two singly and individually is enough, but when you put both of them together, you've got a tough time out there.
They're either going to get the ball or inadvertently, to give them the benefit of the doubt, as we look at Cabañas coming back upfield, they're going to get you, and you're going to feel it. Here's Bogicevic to Borja. 40 minutes, 45 seconds left, second half. Good move by Moyers. And the foul, as Steve Moyers was taken down by Kim Ronford. Moyers made that good move, and you can't blame Ronford. Watch it again.
Well, it was an extremely quick move. Ronford, though, no longer had a chance for the ball, and he did go for Steve Moyers in a very hard tackle there. And referee Evans gave Ronford the yellow caution card for that tackle.
So the Cosmos get a free kick. Bogicevic. 1-1 game, 40 minutes, 43 seconds left in the second half of play. And there is Kim Ronford, Danish citizen from the Netherlands, picking up the yellow card. Into the box, Canaglia, scissor kick, goal! Giorgio with a scissor, his 20th goal of the season. And the Cosmos lead it by a score of 2-1.
Watch the fantastic position that Steve Moyers gets behind the Tulsa defense, totally unmarked, and Bogicevic gets that ball to him beautifully, and you see him bringing that ball in, and Giorgio with his patented scissor kick gets the ball past a diving defender as well as Dubose. There you see Bogicevic's cross on that free kick, and you see Moyers, he'll get his head on it, and Canaglia, unmarked, goes up for it. And Dubose doesn't have a chance, as we see a diving Moreland trying to get that ball out of the net to no avail.
So Steve Moyers gets an assist. He got an assist on the first goal. And the Cosmos have taken a 2-1 lead. Canaglia's 20th goal of the season ties him with Ricky Alonso of the Jacksonville T-Men for the league leadership in that department. And Canaglia now with 54 points on the year, 7 more than Peter Ward, who was in the runner-up spot.
Here comes the same kind of situation at this end.
Barry Wallace. Bradford looking for it, and it comes over to Cabañas, to Canaglia. This is Steve Wegerle. Terry Moore with him. They were teammates in Tampa, and Moore chips it back to the goalkeeper with 39 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the second half. 2-1 game in favor of the New York Cosmos.
And of course, on that Canaglia goal, the great advantage that Giorgio has, and we saw Winston Dubose coming out and the ball was in the air. If Giorgio would have waited for the ball to drop, Dubose would have been on him and probably made the save, but he had the ability to get up into the air and get that shot off in time.
Here come the Cosmos again. Steve Moyers trying to move on Moreland, and Moreland deflects it. The Cosmos will get themselves another corner kick. 38 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second half of play. Corner kick number 6 for the Cosmos.
So far this half, the Cosmos have been playing technically a lot better than either team played the first half.
Borja will take the corner, puts it low, and it's cleared out by Patient. This is Ronfed, tripped up from behind by Borja, who picks up the foul, and Tulsa keeps it in play.
Tulsa hasn't been able to put a great many passes together, and the Cosmos defense may be one of the reasons, as we see referee Evans going over to have a word with Riceburg, who's been playing a very tough game so far all night.
Foul goes against the Cosmos. Another free kick. Victor Moreland gets it to Franz Gerber. Gerber bodied out of the play nicely by Bullion, and it's taken by Chico Borja.
I'm surprised that there isn't one man marking Franz Gerber a lot tighter, because he obviously is one of the most dangerous forwards Tulsa has.
Here is Moyers, Moreland right with him.
Assisted by number 12.
And we got an offside call, and nobody heard the whistle as Moreland and Moyers came downfield.
Well, the crowd was roaring enthusiastically and anticipating another Steve Moyers attack, and I think it drowned out the referee's whistle.
Time of that goal by Canaglia, 49-22 from Bogicevic and Moyers. Here's Terry Moore for Tulsa. Franz Gerber chasing with Bullion. And Bullion wins the 50-50 ball very nicely and cleanly.
And good thing he did, because there was no support, no coverage behind Bullion in case Gerber did get around him. That's where a player like Carlos Alberto, who generally plays sweeper, becomes so effective. If an opponent does get past one of the Cosmos defenders, he's generally in position to make another defensive move.
Here's Chico Borja moving forward to Bogicevic. Borja knocked down by Ronfed and played by Moreland, number 18.
Tulsa defense is very quick, Spencer. You saw that 1-2 that was attempted by Bogi and Borjas, and it just couldn't be done because the defense was too quick.
We're live from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Cosmos lead it 2-1. More in a moment.
The man in the plain pockets jeans. He appreciates jeans that fit comfortably and look good without frills or fancy stitching. He demands jeans made of tough, durable denim. He's the man who knows there's more to quality than an inflated price tag. Plain pockets are now on sale for just $10.99. The bold good looks of the man in the plain pockets jeans. Only at JCPenney.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Did you see the late edition?
Come and taste it.
Congratulations.
Pepsi's got it. Pepsi's got your taste for life. You're the Pepsi generation. Pepsi's got your taste.
CD editor.
For life.
Spencer Ross and Werner Roth with you from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey on the USA Network. 34 minutes, 55 seconds remaining. It is a 2-1 game in favor of the New York Cosmos. Giorgio Canaglia's 20th goal early in the second half, giving New York the lead.
Tulsa has been concentrating a great deal more on defense than they have been on offense, and you have to give the Cosmos forwards a great deal of credit for that. They've been attacking very effectively.
Good ball play by Bradford, taking it away from Bogicevic. It'll be a throw-in coming up for Tulsa. There's Wim Ricebergen. And with the playoffs right on the horizon, having him back has got to help the Cosmos Ronfed fouled there, and Cabañas is going to pick up the foul and the yellow card.
I think so. That was a very dangerous play by Cabañas. He went in straight with his foot straight, and he was given another warning by referee Evans, who literally told him one more play like that and you've got a caution.
Well, he has not received the caution yet. I saw some fans down below us. Some soccer fans come to games with their own yellow card.
Yes, they do.
Right below us, they were just waving a couple of them.
And I think they were waving it at the referee.
Here is Moreland with the long free kick. Ronfed gets his head on it. Naskins tips it forward. And here is Johan Naskins. Nice ball over to Borja.
You see the skill in midfield with Naskins and Bogicevic. Not on that particular one, but on the play before. The ability to one-time it and to know where your teammates are and to be able to put the ball right to them the first time is tremendous.
33.5 minutes remaining in the second half. So we look at Birkenmeyer as he gets it to Bullion.
He's had some extremely timely saves so far in this game, Hubert Birkenmeyer, and it's, I'm sure, one indication of how this Cosmos team depends on him and his abilities.
Cosmos could fill up their 30-minute highlight film with Birkenmeyer's saves this season. We've seen a heck of a lot of them, and you have too right here on the USA Network. Here's Terry Moore knocking it away nicely and getting it over to Pasha.
Terry Moore's had an extremely effective game at defense. He's been all over that back line, defending against almost everyone that attacks.
Wegerle tried to make the move, and a good defensive play once again, this time by Diego Pay by David McCreary. Wegerle. Cabañas knocked it away. Mr. Opportunity for the Cosmos, and Barry Wallace clears it.
Well, see, it pays off. That Cabañas' ability to continuously attack and not to give up pays off quite often.
Well, the offside trap right there as Tulsa started moving forward as Borja lofted it up in the air.
Tulsa plays that offside trap very well.
Johan Naskins, number 13. We haven't seen him do his sliding routine tonight. Man makes more sliding tackles and has got to get more what we used to call raspberries than any man in professional soccer.
I think he was a bit spoiled by all the rainy weather he's had, where he could be sliding all over without being effective.
Here's Wegerle to Canaglia. Good back heel to Bogicevic. Bogey fired, saved by Winnie DeBose. Bogicevic known for the goal-scoring ability with a beautiful feed right there and a great save by DeBose.
That's the second heel pass that Canaglia has been. Look at that beautiful touchback right into space to Bogey, who brings the ball down. Nobody else around him and tries to left-foot it, but a good kick save by Winston DuBose.
Remains 2-1. Here's the corner. Cabañas to Borja. Canaglia finally cleared out by Terry Moore. Ricky Davis gets it over to Naskins. Naskins shot sails wide offside on the Cosmos. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Tulsa. New York leading it by a score of 2-1. This NASL match coming to you on the USA Cable Network, and we'll be right back.
All aboard! For hordes of cords.
Hordes of cords, hordes of cords. Get on the Gap Track to Levi's cord values in 8 great colors and 53 sizes at Cord Value Days. Levi's fit, Levi's quality from the world's largest seller of Levi's jeans.
Next stop, Gap Cord Value Days. Falling through the gap.
Picking and choosing the right investments requires very careful handling. One wrong move can easily damage the best laid plans. At Merrill Lynch, we know that size and strength can be very valuable. But it is our sensitivity to your investment goals and agility in helping you reach them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Cosmos continue to attack. A corner kick here. Bogicevic to Canaglia. Here's Moyers, but Terry Moore beat him to the ball, and Cosmos will get another corner kick. It'll be their 10th of the game. Only one thus far for Tulsa.
Giorgio Canaglia, again, in good position to put a header on goal. Just wasn't able to concentrate enough and get control of it.
Wegerle with the corner. Comes out high to Bogicevic, who fires it very, very high. Say, another big doubleheader comes your way tomorrow night on USA's Thursday Night Baseball. Game 1 features National League excitement as the San Diego Padres battle the St. Louis Cardinals. In Game 2, a traveling trip to Anaheim as the California Angels, with Reggie, play host to the Boston Red Sox. First place is at stake throughout the night, and it all begins at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, right here on the USA Cable Network. And right here, you're watching Wednesday night NASL soccer, our final regular season game. We'll have playoff action coming up for you next week. Check your local listings. We have a 2-1 game here with the Cosmos leading Tulsa. And both these teams, of course, will be in the playoffs.
Well, there's a strategy that's developed, and probably the reason that Chico Borja was brought in to replace Boris Bandoff. He's had a lot of space on this left side to attack, and Hubert Birkenmeyer, on a lot of throws, has been putting the ball to Borja, who's been attacking at will.
Here's Terry Moore now.
Tasso Katsukas, number 4, there, has been out of the game most of it.
Here is Franz Gerber now. Ricebergen all over him, and Bouillon comes over to help out, and a frustrated Franz Gerber moves back upfield.
They just haven't been able to connect up front. Not many consecutive passes have reached their mark, and it may be the importance of this game is showing on Tulsa.
And when you watch Gerber come downfield, as he's done so often here in the second half, I mean, he's the only red shirt down there, Werner.
As I said before, they're concentrating a little bit too much, I think, on the defensive aspect of this game, and they have to start attacking.
That is offside call. Moyer's just a step over. And linesman Fred Usher making the call. The professor, Julio Mazet, the head coach of the Cosmos, not happy with that one.
Well, he would love to get that insurance goal. And of course, it doesn't mean that much to the Cosmos, but it would be a great psychological advantage if they beat Tulsa here and then meet him again in the playoffs.
Which is, of course, a distinct possibility. Here is Gerber, knocked down by Naskins. Gerber again to Bradford. Tries to chip it to Gerber. Taken by Bogicevic. And a dangerous kick call on David Bradford, who came up high, almost in the face of Bogicevic. And Bradford getting some boos from the hometown crowd here, but just booing the ball over the line.
A little bit of frustration there showing on David Bradford. He's been working extremely hard in that midfield, but he's really been unable to produce any continuous attacking threats.
Here's Chico Borja for New York to Wim Ricebergen. Ricky Davis. Naskin, Barry Wallace after it. And it'll be a throw-in coming up for New York. Steve Wegerle does the honors to Ricky Davis. Looking for Moyers. He was onside that time, but it's cleared back.
And again, Moyers finding space behind that Tulsa defense. He's so good. And look at how that Tulsa defense comes out.
Borja drops it for Cabañas. Bogicevic to Borja. Back to Bouillon, who finds Wegerle. Wegerle into the box, cleared out by Houston, and taken by Bradford.
Tulsa came out en masse in that last play. About 7 players came out almost in a straight line up the field. That's why the Cosmos have been finding themselves in offside position so often.
But every once in a while, you're going to get burned in a situation like that. When you're down 2-1, it's kind of a risky play.
Exactly, and they almost got burned a few times, Spencer.
Moreland got his head on that one. This is Pescia. Diego Pescia, number 6. Came from Tampa Bay. Don Draghi went to the Rowdies. And in 11 games with Tulsa, he has 4 goals and 7 assists. Pescia has been a valuable addition to this Tulsa Roughnecks squad. Earlier this year, in fact, I believe his first week when he was with Tulsa this season, he was named NASL Player of the Week. Here is Wegerle, put over the line by Houston. Wegley's cross just a little too high for Canaglia, and Houston did the wise thing.
And Houston, in the right position, as he has been a number of times so far this evening, found himself caught between Canaglia and Steve Moyers, who was coming up behind them.
28,638 on hand here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Borja with a corner. Naskins gets his head on it, and McCreary clears it out. Here is Gerber, an opportunity there, but the ball just took a Cosmo bounce and came to Bouillon. Here's Ricky Davis trying to get around McCreary, and a handball called on McCreary. Cosmo started up quickly. Canaglia knocked away nicely by Victor Moreland.
Now on that Davis attack just before, Tulsa again came out, their whole defense, but Ricky Davis did a wise thing and he held on to the ball.
Here's Franz Gerber giving to David Bradford. Stop the play. We got an offside call. Offside called by linesman Phil Bryant, number 72. He's the linesman on the near side of the field. On the far side is Fred Usher. There is Franz Gerber. He's the kind of man also, like Canaglia, not quite the scoring machine that Canaglia is, but give him one opportunity and he'll make the most of it. Had 20 goals with Calgary last year, has 10 this year. This is Bradford with 23 minutes remaining to Wallace.
And 9 of those 10 goals by Gerber, Spencer, as we mentioned before, since the arrival of Diego Pescia from Tampa. So they've worked very well together, but not so well tonight as they would have liked.
Well, they are trailing by a score of 2-1. The only Tulsa goal, a first-half score by Barry Wallace on a penalty kick. The Cosmos then tied it on a Roberto Cabañas goal, his 6th in 5 game, and Giorgio Canaglia's 20th of the season here in the second half, giving New York a 2-1 lead. That's where we stand. Here's Ronfed. Katsukis back to Ronfed. Ronfed double, triple team. Gerber comes in, and Reisberg can go for the ball and just got it out of harm's way.
And almost got run over by Pescia, who was also going for the ball.
Ricky Davis just elects to put it over the line. It'll give Tulsa a throw in near midfield, right near our USA banner, and there's the prop. Professor Julio Mazet.
I don't think he's inviting anyone to lunch.
Ricky Davis gets it over to Naismith.
Professor Mazet shouting there for the defenders to go for the ball instead of backing up as much as they have been.
There is Cabañas. Terry Hennessy, very subdued, sitting on the Tulsa bench. His team down 2-1. Moyers headed up into the air by Houston. Comes to Ronfed. Ronfed battling for the ball with Cabañas. Houston has it, loses to Cabañas. Wegerling in his off wing is picked up by Ronfed. And Ronfed being talked to by referee Robert Evans.
It was again one of those situations where the ball was way out of play, and the only thing Ronfed did was go after the player.
Here's Ricky Davis shooting it wide with 21 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the second half of play. New York 2, Tulsa 1. For our local systems, we'll pause now. You're watching Wednesday Night NASL Soccer on the USA Cable Network. Look at some of the 28,000 on hand here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Happy you can be with us at home, where the New York Cosmos are leading the Tulsa Roughnecks by a score of 2-1 with 20 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the second half of play. Franz Gerber giving chase. Ricky Davis beats him to the ball. Gerber will have an opportunity at it. It comes to Pescia, saved by Birkenmeyer. Diego Pescia came in, along with the Cosmos Wim Reisbergen, and Mr. Birkenmeyer had to go high.
Well, he didn't come out as far as Pescia would have liked. Birkenmeyer knew that Reisbergen was on his man, so he stayed back quite a bit, and it saved the goal.
Back live, Wegerle moves forward for New York to Canaglia. Tries to chip it to Wegerle, but too far. It'll be a goal kick coming up for the Roughnecks. We've got under 20 minutes remaining in the second half of play, with the New York Cosmos leading the Tulsa Roughnecks by a score of 2-1. Here's Canaglia. Beautiful ball to Moyers. Houston was chasing it, and over the line it goes. Cosmos calling for a penalty on Houston.
Well, it was very close. Houston came in there. You see the continuation of that pass by Giorgio Canaglia, and Moyers was going for it. Houston did have his hand out, but it was a very close call, and Moyers just fanned by a few inches.
There are some who criticize Mr. Canaglia for being a one-dimensional player, but he has so much ability and the ability to put the ball right on the mark, one-timing it to members of his team, and he's just shown some great passing ability tonight. When you score a lot of goals, you just can't be that great a playmaker. Just not enough time.
Exactly. You can't do everything well, and there's one thing that Giorgio does well is score goals, but you're right, Spencer. So far this season, he's been very effective in the passing department.
Here is Gerber, but Ricky Davis beats him with the ball with 18 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. Naismith to Davis. New York 2, Tulsa 1. And that foul goes against David McCreary of Tulsa.
And the fans here, being as knowledgeable as they are, notice that the Cosmos maintain possession, and they feel that the referee should not have called that foul.
If the advantage belongs to you and you're going to be hurt by the penalty being called, the rule is let play continue, play on. And that time referee Evans elected not to do so, and the crowd didn't like it. Here's Borja for New York. 18 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. Borja, the lone substitution thus far for New York for Boris Bandoff, while Kim Ronfed replaced Laurie Abrahams for Tulsa. Here's Cabanas. Canaglia. Moreland right with him. Taken by Terry Moore. This is Bradford. Tulsa at one point, Werner, has got to say to themselves, hey, we got to open it up as Gerber comes forward and is taken down and sent 3 or 4 men down.
Well, there you see the problem, as you mentioned before, Spencer, not enough support to the attacking players. When they do get possession of the ball, they find themselves up front all alone.
Chico Borja. Here's Naskins to Wegerle. Back to Naskins, a little bit behind him. Out to Ricebergen. Ricebergen chips for Cabanas. Good ball. Shot wide. Oh, but what control. What a touch by this young man, Roberto Cabanas. 21 years old from Paraguay. Watch artistry in motion.
Off the chest, off the foot, and without the ball touching the ground, a shot on goal, unfortunately a bit wide, but what control, as you said, Spencer.
What talent. 21 years old from Paraguay, Roberto Cabanas. Here's a long ball for Pescia, but nobody's there to help him out. Gerber comes over, and Bergenmeyer makes the easy save.
Tulsa has worked very hard. They have a very high work rate, but they just seem to be unable to connect on their consecutive passes. The defensive passes coming up into the forward line aren't going through the midfield, and nobody is supporting from behind.
Here is Steve Wegerle for New York, and pushed it too far ahead. It'll be a goal kick coming up for Tulsa. 16 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. We got a lot of former Tampa Bay Rowdies out on the field tonight. There's the goalkeeper. Steve Wegerle's one. Winston Dubose. Terry Moore is another one.
Well, Tampa Bay is very similar to the Cosmos in that respect, that they develop such good players, and they usually wind up with such quality teams that if a team is looking for a particular, there's a member of my family, Spencer, my long-lost brother.
What's up, Doc? Bugs Bunny.
But if a team is looking for players, they tend to go to the best teams, and Tampa Bay is one of them.
Here's Ricebergen giving to Wegerle. Wegerle and Borja on the header, sailed it high with 15 and a half minutes remaining. Cosmos 2, Roughnecks 1. Chico Borja, who was raised not far from this stadium. In fact, last year when he scored his first goal, his brother came running out of the stands to celebrate.
He's from Belleville, New Jersey, and his family comes to watch him play every week. In fact, he was a Cosmos fan before he became a Cosmos player.
I believe his brother was arrested for just a moment after running out of the field. He was just helping his brother celebrate scoring a goal here at Giant Stadium.
But he should have left his clothes on.
Here is Bogicevic. Long balling for Wegerle. And Ronfed has it now for Tulsa. Gives to Dave Houston. 14 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in this second half, with the Cosmos leading Tulsa by a goal. Here's Pasha. Franz Gerber. Gerber taken right off his foot by Bullion. Cosmos have played Tulsa 11 previous times, and the scoreboard reads 9-2 in favor of Cosmos. Right now with 14:20 remaining, Cosmos lead it by a score of 2-1. More on USA after this.
From Radio Shack's world of the TRS-80 comes the microcomputer business system.
Meet the business partner who works as hard as you do. The TRS-80 microcomputer business system. It handles the accounting, payroll, inventory, even word processing. The TRS-80 is expandable and requires no formal training.
Now that's a partner. TRS-80 business systems from 1849, only from Radio Shack and Radio Shack Computer Centers, the computer experts.
I'm Johnny Bench. This is Krylon spray paint, the other leading national brand. And here comes my fast pitch, so watch close. Krylon Special Formula goes on smooth, just like a professional finish. And just 12 minutes later, it's dry to the touch. No runs, no drips, no errors. The other brand's still tacky after 1 hour. Let's see it again. Krylon dry after 12 minutes, other brand still tacky after 1 hour. Did you catch that? Krylon, for a smooth, fast professional finish.
Back at Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Spencer Ross and Werner Roth, 2-1 Cosmos. 13 minutes remaining. Ricky Davis puts it into the box. Dave Hewson gets his head on it for Tulsa. It comes back to Wim Reisbergen. To Bogisevic. Tulsa's got to open it up.
Well, the Cosmos are very satisfied now to just be maintaining control of the ball with 12 minutes to go.
Here's Cabañas. He let it slide through, and the dummy play to Canaglia. Giorgio with the header, and DuBose with the save. They don't keep official times of possession in soccer. It would be impossible. But I'd have to venture a guess that thus far of the 78 minutes or so he played, the Cosmos have had the ball 45 minutes.
I tend to agree with you, Spencer, and Tulsa is now, I'm sure, as we see an offside there, Gerber finding himself one of the few times this evening with space and the ball at his feet. Unfortunately, it was offside. But Tulsa is, I think they're coming down now with the result of their high work rate, which is that they're starting to get tired. There's not as much movement off the ball, and defensively you also see that they're not able to really keep up with the passing skill of the Cosmos.
And we now have 11 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Cosmos 2, Tulsa 1, and time running out on the team from Oklahoma. Here is Chico Borja. Rodfett is with him. And Borja just killing some time, trying to set it up, gets it to Reisbergen.
The Cosmos still attacking with their defense as well as their midfielders, sending Reisbergen and Ricky Davis up on a number of attacking plays, when possibly at this stage with the score 2-1 they should maybe concentrate a little bit on marking men in the back, or at least staying tight in the back.
A term we heard a few weeks ago, which is usually a hockey term, but relates to soccer also, forechecking. The ability to send your forwards up and have them press the opposition. Well, you're not seeing it tonight from Tulsa. The Cosmos on their own end are just able to set things up. Here's Canaglia with a shot, and it sailed high, and a good feed out in front by Cabañas. The Cosmos getting out of their own end, having no trouble at all, and it results in situations like that and a near goal.
And here you see the bogey pass coming in. Borja continuing it into the middle. Cabañas pushing it to Giorgio, who one-times it a little bit high. And I think one of the things that's happening, Spencer, Tulsa did start the forecheck a little bit in the first half, but the skill of the Cosmos and being able to one-touch passes through the midfield and into the attacking third really takes away a good part of that forechecking strength.
And at this stage of the game,
they're just too tired. Tulsa's just too tired to maintain that.
That's right. It's been a lot of minutes of soccer on a beautiful evening. It is warm, humidity not too high. Borja has it to Cabañas. There's Richard Chinipool warming up on the sidelines for the Cosmos. The shot taken by Katsoukas.
Chinapoo, who had a great start earlier this season, playing regularly and very effectively, hasn't been playing for the last number of games, and he may just be coming in and getting another opportunity.
Another great golf event comes your way on Friday in conjunction with CBS Sports. USA will bring you the second round coverage of the Buick Open from Grand Blanc, Michigan. It all begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on the USA Cable Network this Friday. Right now, we've got 9 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the game. Regulation time, that is. Cosmos 2, Tulsa 1. Ricky Davis, good cross. Moyers, great save for both.
What an effort by that young man there. Getting congratulated by his teammates. Steve Moyers comes up with a fantastic goal. He's had 2 assists so far this evening. A lovely cross by Ricky Davis from his right wing position, and Moyers, a beautiful header. DeBose is able to thwart it with his right hand, but Moyers comes back, gets his own rebound, and puts it in. Here you see how it started. Regularly to Ricky Davis on that right side. Cosmo spreading out the Tulsa defense, and a lovely cross. Moyers again in the right position, gets his own rebound off DeBose and puts it in.
Great second effort and 13th goal of the season for number 12, Steve Moyers, and the Cosmos have taken a 2-goal lead at 3-1. Remember, they trailed this game in the early going on Barry Wallace's penalty kick goal, and then goals by Cabañas, Canaglia, and Moyers for a 3-1 New York lead. And there you see Tampa Bay leading Fort Lauderdale 1-0 in the second half. Should Fort Lauderdale lose the game, Toronto and Chicago are tied at 1 in the second. And right now, Tulsa appears a beaten team with 8 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Tulsa will lose a golden opportunity should Fort Lauderdale get beaten tonight, because a Tulsa victory combined with a Fort Lauderdale loss could have moved them in the first place in the Southern Division. Here is Moyers again. Moyers chips, looking for Canaglia, gets his head on it, but DuBose is there for the save. What a night for Steve Moyers, a goal and 2 assists.
And what a work rate. I mean, he creates a lot of the opportunities that he has just by his work rate. He's all over the field from the left to the right side. He just allows himself to get into positions where he can be played very easily by his teammates.
Moyers with the goal and 2 assists tonight, as Bogicevic comes in and fires wide. And we'll get a goal kick coming up here for the Tulsa Roughnecks for our local systems. Let's pause now. You're watching Wednesday Night NASL Soccer on the USA Network. Spencer Ross and Werner Roth back here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We have 7 minutes even remaining in this second half, with the Cosmos leading it by 3-1. And they have played well tonight.
They have played extremely well, especially in the second half, Spencer. They were a little bit hesitant in the first half, being thwarted by the Tulsa defense.
Here is Wegerle firing wide. Well, the Cosmos are opening it up now. They lead it by a score of 3-1. And Steve Wegerle coming mighty close to picking up another goal for New York. Wegerle on the season has only 3, and that's far below what you'd call a Steve Wegerle normal season.
He hasn't been playing consistently, but he's been utilized when the Cosmos want to spread out that defense, because he hangs on to that wing.
Play continues. David Bradford has it. Gets it to McCreary. And now Tulsa's opening it up. They need 2 goals. They need them quickly. Richard Chinapoo in the lineup. He breaks up that play. Comes to Katsoukas. Chinapoo gets his head on it, and Ricebergen will clear it over to Ricky Davis. Moyers with a goal and 2 assists moves into 10th place in the North American Soccer League scoring race, passing Brian Kidd of Fort Lauderdale. And when you consider the fact that Steve Moyers has started only 15 games this year for the Cosmos and played in only 26, and he's played about 1,000 less minutes than Giorgio Canaglia, that is quite a scoring total.
And he's taken a lot less shots than Giorgio Canaglia. If you look at the number of attempts, you see that Giorgio has 167 coming into tonight's game, and Moyers only has 61. So you can see the effectiveness of this young man's ability.
He now has 13 goals, and he's taken at least 62 shots with that one goal tonight.
One of the reasons he hasn't been playing as much is because Giorgio Canaglia and Steve Moyers, they're very similar players. They like to be the leading man up front. As we look at number 15, Steve Robowski coming in for Katsoukas on Tulsa.
He's a U.S. citizen born in Yugoslavia out of Brown University. Played 3 years with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and he has the ability to put the ball into the net. And at this stage of the game, that is the only thing that Tulsa needs.
Grabowski did play in 1979, one game for the Tulsa Roughnecks before being sent to the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. So he came home again.
Richard Chinapoo, native of Trinidad, rookie in the North American Soccer League. Long Island University is where he played his collegiate soccer. It is a 3-1 game in favor of the Cosmos.
Chinapoo had a great collegiate soccer career with LIU.
You helped scout him, didn't you, for the Cosmos?
I've seen him play a number of times. He was very high on everybody's list.
Yours too?
Mine too, Spencer.
You were right.
For a change.
Now, 3-1 game. Cosmos lead it, and that foul will go against Wim Riceberg into the Cosmos. Tulsa's got to pull out all the stops right here and look for the tie. Diego Pescia setting up the free kick. Cosmos will set up the wall. Clock ticks away. 4:50 remaining. Pescia shot. Birkenmeyer lunging punch save. Ricky Davis clears it. Ralbowski gets it over to Bradford. Returns it to Ralbowski. Ricky Davis chases with him. Number 6 for the Cosmos. Put over the line, and last touch by Ralbowski, and a goal kick for the Cosmos.
And you see how unfortunate for Tulsa that this shot by Pescia, a rocket right foot that Birkenmeyer is just able to punch out of danger, but it's unfortunate for Tulsa that Pescia hasn't been able to take more shots on goal. He's not been in a position. He hasn't been getting the ball up front, and you can really see how effective he can be when he does get an opportunity.
4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining. Barry Wallace, number 3. This is Terry Moore to David Bradford. Rotfed, good heel pass. Franz Gerber, and Gerber just one of those situations where your right foot didn't know where your left was going, and he trips down. Here's Canaglia.
The final connection has just been missing for Tulsa on their attacking plays.
Kim Rotfed has it now, drops it back for Houston with 3:40 remaining. 3-1 Cosmos. Chicago now leading Toronto 2-1 in the second half. Should Toronto lose, they have only one game remaining after this one. Toronto might wind up playing the New York Cosmos in the opening round of the playoffs next week. Not a very enviable place to be.
Not at all, especially since the kind of a game the Cosmos are playing tonight. They seem to be in top form, especially in the second half.
But remember, last week, right here at Giant Stadium, Toronto beat the Cosmos by a score of 4-1. Coming up next, right here on the USA Cable Network, stay tuned for Sports Pro. Ron Luciano will be tonight's guest on Sports Pro, so you stay tuned for that. Here's Steve Wegerle. Good defensive play and a sliding tackle by Houston. Chico Borja makes the defensive play now, and it's taken by Kim Rotfed, number 5. 2:40 remaining. Terry Moore to David Bradford. Ahead for Steve Ralbowski, number 15. 2:35 left, 3-1 game. Cosmos leading Tulsa. Ralbowski to Pescia. Good wall pass to Ralbowski. Ricky Davis chases with Ralbowski, who tried to put it off Davis's body. He succeeded to set up the corner kick.
Ralbowski, as we look at Ricky Davis here, Ralbowski is, who came in for Katsoukas in that midfield position, has taken a lot of the pressure off the midfield by taking a wide position out on that wing, and it's been somewhat effective.
Here's Kim Rotfed with the corner kick. Gives to Ralbowski. Ralbowski tees it up, and it's blocked by Chinapoo. Here's Richard Chinapoo on a run. To Moyers. Canaglia breaks through. Moreland puts it on net, but an easy save for DuBose with 1:40 remaining. You Cosmo fans who may be watching in the area, Cosmo's opening playoff game will be next Wednesday night right here at Giant Stadium. Playoffs get underway next week. And we'll be bringing you opening round playoff action. You check your local listing. Here's Cabañas. Good ball for Wegerle. Houston stays with him. Houston puts it over the touchline with 1:09 remaining.
The Cosmos playing their last regular season home game has really given their fans a great show here in the second half.
Here's Chico Borja to Bogusevic. Moyers has it. Tries to return to Bogey. Bogey chips it for Chinapoo. Chinapoo lost a shoe.
His shoe almost went in the back of the net, Spencer.
Cosmos not only lead in the game, they lead in the lost shoes. Ricky Davis lost one in the first half, and now Chinapoo has to come back and get his.
Well, they're both very young players, and their mommy wasn't there to tie their shoelaces.
Good defensive play by Ricky Davis as Bradford was chasing that. One of the premier American players in the NASL. Someday we won't even say that. Here is Gerber. Put it in front. Chinapoo with the play. The shot taken by Ronfed and finally dropped back. I say that. Someday we won't say it because you'll just say a premier player, because there'll be as many great Americans in this league as people from foreign extraction. 4 seconds remaining. That's going to do it. The Cosmos have won it. The final whistle sound, and the New York Cosmos, on goals by Cabañas, Quinalda, and Moyers, have beaten the Tulsa Roughnecks by a score of 3-1. And we'll get back with some final words from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, right after this.
Come on, what are you waiting for? Now's the time to make the jump to Toyota. Your Toyota dealer has special truck incentives and the best selection to make you jump on a deal this week on the world's best-selling line of trucks, Toyota trucks. 2x, 4x long beds are the most powerful standard engine in its class. So if you've been holding back, now's the time to jump on Toyota's Truck Deal of the Year. Make the jump to Toyota today.
What a feeling to be Toyota.
Here's too good.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Jim.
Hey, what's up? The view.
Oh, I thought it was about time I paid you back.
Must say something. In us back.
I pay us back for what? Last Sunday when the Palmers dropped in, you loaned me some beer.
Well, Jim, that was beer. This is Lowenbrow.
Let's call it interest.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know, Jim, I've been thinking. Maybe you ought to borrow things more often. Let it be Lowenbrow.
Fresh and clean as a whistle. That's Irish Spring. Fresh and clean as a whistle. Because Irish Spring's green and white stripes have 2 freshening deodorants. 2 deodorants for a fresher kind of clean.
And a fine, fresh scent.
So you're fresh and
Clean as a whistle.
Irish Spring deodorant soap gets you fresh and clean as a whistle.
This week on USA's Thursday Night Baseball doubleheader, sensational Terry Kennedy leads baseball's biggest surprise, the San Diego Padres, against fleet-footed Lonnie Smith and the high-flying St. Louis Cardinals. Then, in Game 2, future Hall of Famers meet as the incredible Carl Yastrzemski and the Boston Red Sox clash with slugging Reggie Jackson and the California Angels. Catch the action live this week on USA's Thursday Night Baseball. May not be seen in some areas.
Final score, the New York Cosmos beat the Tulsa Roughnecks by a score of 3-1. Tulsa will not take over first place in the Southern Division. Barry Wallace on a penalty kick at 24-27. Roberto Cabañas on a picture goal at 26-35 tied it. In the second half, Quinalda on a scissor kick. Moyers with an assist, 49-22, and Moyers finally gets a goal at 80-55. Cosmos win at 3-1, an impressive performance.
It was just a very impressive second half. The Cosmos never gave Tulsa a chance to get back into the game.
So that does it. The final score once again, the New York Cosmos 3 and the Tulsa Roughnecks 1. And tonight's match has been brought to you by Lowenbrow. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow. By Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas and more. And by Toyota, who invites you to visit your local Toyota dealer and see the sporty new SR5 sports truck. It's a 2-seat sports car with a 7-foot trunk. Next week, USA Cable Network will bring you all the action of the North American Soccer League playoffs. You check your local listings for teams and time to be televised, and stay with USA for NASL playoff fever right through Soccer Bowl 82, which you'll see live on USA Saturday night, September 18th from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California. So until next week, for Werner Roth, this is Spencer Roth saying so long from East Rutherford, New Jersey for the USA Cable Network. The executive producer of Wednesday Night NASL Soccer is Jim Zrake. Our producer is Mark Dio Stolberger. Tonight's director, Doug Rand. The associate producers have been Brian Williams and Bob Eisenstadt. This has been a USA Network sports presentation.
You are watching the USA Cable Network. We now join Sports Probe, already in progress, the guest, Ron Luciano.
Ron, you said that you were stupid, and now you're saying that baseball players and managers are dumb. Who's smarter, umpires or ball players?
No one in sports is smart. You cannot deal with a child's game, act childishly 200 days out of the year and expect to be a brilliant person. You don't have them. Like Tony La Russa, the manager of Chicago White Sox, okay? He's a lawyer. He comes out. Now, when managers come out, they start, "You're no good, bleep, 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 you're lousy dick, you're lousy." He comes out and he says, "Excuse me, Mr. Luciano, I think you've erred on your judgment on this particular play." We don't know what he's talking about, right? He'll never